Hello, cats and kittens. Oliver Jose Hiroshi, and we're in the movie corner of the Crisis Corner. Finally, giving my impressions of the Miss Marvel series on Disney Plus, and I got my man Dave with me.
What's
So
up, good people?
this is Miss Marvel, and as you can see from my background, the comp that I chose in trying to figure out what they were trying to do with Miss Marvel, to me, it comes down to Midoriya Izuku from My Hero Academia. And as we go through this, we'll break down the similarities and where I think Miss Marvel fell short.
Okay.
First of all, I did not, because I've been running down Marvel.
Yeah, I see. I caught the video, dude. You read there. I was like, wow.
To me, and this is kind of an example of where Marvel is in a rush to give you stuff, but they're not following through to make the stuff that they give you great.
Okay.
So it winds up being okay. I'm not mad at the series. I didn't dislike it. I have favorable impressions of a few things. I mean, I'll run down my list. First of all, the character. I mean, if you've not seen the series yet, it's basically about a young Pakistani girl that lives in Jersey who dreams of, I guess, becoming a hero or just idolizes a particular hero. I'm not even sure if she had aims of becoming a hero, which goes into some of my confusion. Because there was no road to her. To me, she was just a fan, like a cosplay fan
Yeah.
of a particular hero, idolized their hero.
Agreed.
And to the extent that Miss Marvel, the hero was aspirational to her, I don't know. It was a thing like I dream of being her, aside from the look and whatever. But do you actually want to jump in the ring and throw your hands up and defend something? I don't know. To me, it seemed just like I can't either her. Just like I like to be whatever.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm a little lost on that to an extent. But
I mean,
go
I
ahead.
don't want to deter you, but to what extent? I mean, she admired Captain Marvel. She looked up to her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Michael. I guess what throws you off in reference to that? What's the?
Um, it's like if you admire Michael Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
so you start playing basketball and start doing whatever. And not technically, I mean, if she admired Captain Marvel because she wanted to fight evil, she didn't need to have Captain Marvel's power. She could just say, "I'm gonna be a street vigilante and fight crime." You know what I'm saying? But she didn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
It's
mean
like,
I'm.
and now let's get to the comparison though, because you go to my man Midoriya, right?
Uh-huh.
Midoriya expected to have powers, and when he got those powers, he was going to emulate his hero, right? He wanted to be like All Might. He didn't even know because in My Hero Academia, it was 87% of the population gets a quirk.
Yeah.
They get some sort of ability. That's not to say 80 something percent of the population goes on to be heroes. That's a choice.
Okay.
His choice was going to be a hero when he got his powers. His obstacle was he never got those powers. Okay. So by that virtue, he had an obstacle. Now, in fairness, what's her name again? What's her
Who?
Kamala.
Oh yeah, Kamala.
One problem that I have is she never had an obstacle. She just, there was nothing. She didn't have anything barring her from doing much.
I
You know what I'm
mean,
saying?
I'm with you. I mean, but I say so in reference to Midoriya. Like you said, some characters, the drive. to be a hero is innate. And I don't know if we can talk about, Kamala and how if that was put on display. But like if you recall in My Hero, when that cat is messing up Bakugo
Mhm.
in the very beginning, like he it was in him to make a move.
Boom.
So it wasn't necessarily the powers that per se. I mean, he wasn't going to be a hero, and I guess nobody wants to emulate Batman in that particular world. But it is what it is. But it was something in him that pushed him to be a champion of the people. So it was innate in who he is as a person. And I guess in some ways I could see your point in regards to Kamala, because I don't know that they had that moment that was on display, like in Captain America,
Yeah.
where
Okay.
Tommy Lee Jones throws down the grenade, the dummy grenade, and Bama jumps on it, and he's
Mhm.
telling this is pre-powers, get out of here, whatever. He was Captain America before those powers, and I don't know, like I guess I agree with you in so much that her looking up or her admiration for Captain Marvel seems to me to be surface in that it's just that's
Yeah.
my favorite hero. Um, because heroes are real there, I guess,
Right.
but yeah, I'm with you in that
She
regard.
she needed that Bakugo moment. She needed a moment when she didn't have her powers.
That she so
Or
showed,
yeah, but she showed straight courage or straight.
and this is who I am as a
Yeah,
person.
yeah. We never
I
got
agree
that.
with that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
They hooked her up with that bit at the con where she technically saved Chloe from being
But her powers had
aggressive.
manifested at that point in time.
Yeah, and I mean it was manufactured. You know what I'm saying? That first of all, I mean if I'm a nitpick, I'm thinking Chloe probably should have suffered some major injuries when she got slammed up to the wall by that swinging hammer. I don't care if it was a
I mean,
styrofoam hammer. It hit her in midair and drove her into a wall, I think. So I'm thinking she
uh,
probably should have. All she did was catch her before she hit the ground. Okay, and Chloe said she saved her life. So
I
it was
mean,
like
I mean, and to be fair, she endangered it too. But I mean, I got you.
she saved her from going to the hospital.
Yeah.
So that didn't give me enough of a moment to define her as a person before she got her powers.
Okay.
But and so I'm never led to believe that she's heroic. She's to me, she was like any of those cosplayers.
I mean, I
They
agree
probably
with
had a
you.
favorite hero, and that was about the extent of it.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that, and I can't even really argue that because I think there's and I don't want because I'm skipping, and I want you to get back on track, so I apologize,
Fair,
but
fair, fair.
there's a bit whereas I think she's talking to either her mom or her dad, and for all intents and purposes, she says, I'm who you raised me to be. And not to say whatever, because the cons, they seem like reasonable parent type people, for, for
Right?
for the most part, they seem like reasonable parents. I just don't remember. I'd never seen that activist bit in them. I never seen them
Thank
actually
you.
out there. I
Thank
don't
you,
see
David.
it, and maybe
I
it
mean,
was
where did
me.
that come from?
It was me, like I mean, I don't know. Like they're not, they're not criminals. They seem to be fine, upstanding citizens, as far as I know. But like, you raised her. I got power, so like there is no, with great power comes great responsibility. Bit that comes on. Like I don't want to be like but I agree with you on this
That's
one.
what it blew me. She
You
was
got
like,
me.
it was like she was trying to tell Pop, I'm gonna be all right because you raised me. I've never seen Pop tell her one word about sticking her neck out for anybody ever. I mean, I might be wrong. I might have to go back and watch that shit again. But did
It's not in
nobody
there,
ever
dude.
say nothing to her
It's
about
not in there.
saving nobody's life?
Not a kitten, not
Nothing.
not a puppy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Dude,
with you. I'm with
this
you on that one. That's a valid
it's
complaint. Okay,
it's a lot of emptiness in here. They're trying to
they skip some
all
stuff.
all of these heroes got themes. If you go to Midoriya, like I said, it's about he wanted to be the guy that saves the innocent people with a smile on his face, like his hero.
Like, oh
You know
my,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
To reassure people, to let them know that there's justice out there. Because what you call All Might was the symbol of justice.
Okay.
So man down for justice. I'm not sure what Kamala's down for. I'm not sure. I mean, she got the. I mean, she again. She's a Pakistani first. I mean, American first generation. I think American Pakistani kid
Yeah.
from Jersey. Jersey. They could have really, I think, pushed the whole being the hero of Jersey thing, which would have been cool. Because as far as I know, Jersey don't have no real heroes.
Outside of
Springsteen.
Springsteen and Bon Jovi.
No, that's the best that I could think of.
Yeah, okay,
But
okay,
and
okay.
they push
Lauren Hill, but you know, it
yeah,
is what it
hey,
is.
bro,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, okay,
okay.
okay.
That
But
Fuji's will say, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was excellent.
yeah.
But
Okay.
they pushed now the series pushed I can say push. It had aims of diversity and Muslim culture and Pakistani culture, which I
Okay.
was fine with. They
Yeah.
actually they brought up the whole thing about the what they call it, the partition.
The partition.
I wound up watching a documentary on that joint based on the fact that I didn't know what it was. And that joint was fascinating. And so, in
Okay.
fact, I started to cringe a little bit because I was like, if you get down to the actual history, man, it's dark and I don't know what. I know if Disney wanted to really mess with that. It was dark and I don't know what, man. I I wouldn't have gone there, but whatever. So, some of the pluses, I thought Homegirl that played Kamala, she hit a little bit too much of the Kate Bishop vibes, but she was good. I
I
like
thought
her.
she was really. I
Like her.
liked her.
I thought she was funny, bubbly. She was
Yeah.
cute.
Oh
She's
yeah.
a character. I like
Yeah, I
her.
like her.
I like her fine. I like her family fine. You know what I'm
I
saying?
did too, actually.
They were good. Yeah, I didn't have no problem with her family. I like the emphasis that they put on their community. You see dude with the falafel stand,
Yeah.
different stuff going on in Jersey in general, and even within the Muslim community. That's fine. I didn't have no problem with that. It seemed to me like a slice of life manga. And being a fan of manga, I
Mm.
didn't hate the slower pace as much. You know what I'm saying? Because now, if you was going strictly from the Spider-Man whatever type dynamic, it was slow. There wasn't always something happening all the time. So there's that, but I don't think that was their aim. I think they were more slice of life, mixing the superhero stuff into her.
To I mean, and
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think so I guess if you doing a Spider-Man comparison, I guess the idea would be for the most part, and I'm assuming you mean in MCU, Spider-Man is. I mean, they're movies, and it shows the difference between using the medium. So a movie is a
Mm-hmm.
movie, and it has to be a little quicker. You don't want it to be breakneck, but it has to be a little quicker than um, a television show. And I
Mm-hmm.
think because I guess when we start talking about the bits that they missed, I could have really liked Miss Marvel. I'll say that. So I
Mm-hmm.
honestly feel like this was a TV show, and I don't feel like all of the things that Marvel is putting on TV feel like TV shows to me, and
Mm-hmm.
this kind of did. So I think in that way, it was a step in the right direction. The I didn't have a problem with the pacing. I didn't have a problem with characters and so forth. I could have really liked this. I'll say that.
Well, now I'm going into some of the misses. What did you think of Bruno? I think they left a
Bruno,
lot of meat on the bone with Bruno.
I do too, man. Actually, Bruno would have been my dude. I'm saying it off the break. Like they got me. I'm Team Bruno all the way. I'm,
I
I'm
mean,
telling you,
here's
he.
this. How did he get into the friend zone?
I don't
Okay,
know.
because one of the tropes is that we've been friends so long. I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
stay friends, whatever. But I'm not sure how she doesn't catch on to the fact that he's into her. I mean, at all. It's like she's completely oblivious to it. Not even that she's afraid to explore it. Like she don't know at
That
all.
well, see, that's the thing, and I don't know because there's that bit on the roof.
Yeah,
where he's looking at it, he was he was in he fell into her eyes, and I was just like,
real talk.
like at that point in time, it seemed like she became cognizant of, wait a minute, this dude just fell into my eyes, like, so I don't know. My issue when you have situations like that, because in all honesty, feelings are feelings. As much as we try to control them as people, sometimes some things are beyond you. If you're not feeling Bruno, you're not feeling Bruno. And I don't want it to be a situation where we're saying, oh, she should have been feeling Bruno, because Bruno, he team Kamala all the way, like, because he
Right,
was,
right,
like, whatever, like, that's a good dude, like, that's the kind of cat, whatever. But you're not feeling. To me, if we're friends for real, at the very least, you at least speak to it, like, homie, like, I want, you my buddy, you my dude,
right.
and that's all I see you as, and that's where I'm at with it. I would have preferred,
Go
like,
into that a little bit. Lean
like
into it.
something. I'm with you. That the
I mean, she
Bruno stuff.
quickly fell for all them other cats. Dude jump out the bushes. She's like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy who's been helping you hard the whole time. You know what I'm saying? What? And going back to Bruno, who is he? Where are his parents gone? He has a grandmother, but we never see her.
Never see
But,
the grandmother.
but he's as far as I know, he's running that shop by himself.
But hey, look,
And grandma's never seen. Did she survive the explosion?
I don't know.
He don't seem concerned anyway. You know
Bruno,
what I'm saying?
Bruno seemed like the neighborhood kid. Like, I just don't, like, he cool with the cons. Like, she knew the dude needed some food. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. Mama Khan was sitting in the back with plates. Like, I
And
don't
I,
know.
I had to go to heroics to figure out some things because, like, when she gave him that basket of food or whatever, she
Yeah,
said the one on the bottom is for whatever. She used it was a Pakistani or something term for grandmother. So that's how I found out she got a grandma. He has a grandmother.
yeah.
Initially, that's how I found out anyway. So I said, all right, grandma. And Kamala had said earlier that he doesn't have much of a home life. Okay, that's interesting, but why? Is his parents dead? Were they murdered? Where's grandma? Does she care about him?
I don't
Who
know.
gets the money from the store? You know what I'm saying? We know nothing about Bruno. You know what I'm saying?
So, like, I'm gonna tell you, like, you make a valid. So this is one of them situations, whereas I'm really torn on Miss Marvel. So you brought up a point. I can't even remember what we were talking about, dude. But you were talking about essentially Disney doing this cookie cutter thing with these TV shows where everything has to be 6 episodes, and quite frankly, it detracts from what you can do or what you can achieve with these shows when you say it
Mhm.
has to go into this particular box. Because I'm gonna tell you, you leave a whole bunch of stuff out there, and that's one of the drawbacks for this show. I'm not certain if 6 episodes was too much, or there are times in which I feel like it was simply too little. Because
Mhm.
Bruno, that's an unexplored character. And if you want to say we'll go back to some of this stuff in later seasons, like that was a chance, right? Like, this thing right here could have been awesome. I'm gonna tell you
It
that
could
off the
have
break.
been.
This could have been awesome. And I
Yeah.
know Miss Marvel's supposed to appear in the Marvels movie, um, Captain Marvel 2, for all intents and purposes. But, like, this right here could be a TV show character.
Mhm.
This right here could be
It
a,
could be.
something that's exclusive to this, and this whole 6 episode thing that you're doing is a mistake, because this is a show.
Yeah.
This
And
should have
this
been
could
at
be.
least 8 episodes, at
And
least eight.
it could have been I mean, if you wanted to make it, I don't know if they were going for like some elements they had were kind of like CW type because
Yeah.
they set her up with a team. Every hero these days got a team, and somehow they threw Zoe in at the back end. You know what I'm saying? Zoe could have been her Flash Thompson, but
Yeah.
they didn't seem to want to give her an antagonist. So all right, fine. Her brother's on her team. He got mixed up with that whole thing at the school at the end. I mean, I'm gonna get into the threat level thing in a second, but they gave her. I like the old days where heroes had to suss it out on their own. Spider-Man did not have a team. I mean, when dude came and tried to ravage the city, he had to figure it out. I mean, it's just what you were expected to do as a hero back in the day. Now you got people that's going to come in and support you and help you do all of this stuff, even though they don't have no powers. They're just there to help you do your job. Man, do your job. You know what I'm saying? That's my deal. One thing that I thought was interesting, another bridge between the two characters, Deku and Kamala Khan, that I think they could have played out. From years of being into heroes and observing them and watching them, Midori had the habit of taking notes and making plans. He became extremely analytic
Yeah.
because he knew that dude did this and that and that. He analyzed, overanalyzing stuff. She's got a little bit of that in her, and that she has her little plans, like the plan that she had to go to Comic-Con or whatever. And it fell apart, which was beautiful to me. It was funny because she thought that was the joint. She thought it was like, oh my God, I got it figured out. I would have played into that, especially when she did it at the high school and had that joint fail big time, and have her have to struggle to rally from her plans falling apart.
Yeah.
That would give her like a little niche, a little thing like, she thinks she has it all figured out, stuff falls apart, and then she rallies and intuitively, rather than trying to use forethought, figures out her plans. That would give her a fail and a win.
Okay.
She got no fails, as far as I see. Maybe you could argue, all right, she didn't excel extremely at using her powers from the beginning, but she wasn't that far off, to be honest with you.
I mean, I don't have a problem. I don't know, because I can tell you that some at some points that kind of stuff is a little irksome to me in term. I mean, as a character, so I'm okay with folks not knowing how to use their powers off the bat. That bothers me when you can just you pick it up and then I'm a master at this gift that I was just given. Like I'm not for that. There has to be some training, there has to be some growth, and I guess she was quickly defeated to me, and I guess my and it weighed on, like when she couldn't save that kid. When she broke his leg or whatever, not to say what she saved his life, and I mean, like, she's at the end of the day, you did whatever, but oh no, I'm gonna run. Maybe I'm not meant to be like, I ain't got time for that kind of nonsense. Either you're gonna do it or you're not. And I think that speaks to your point, whereas what happened that made you say Kamala Khan should be a hero? Because at that point, where you dropped the ball and you fled and you got behind under the cover like that, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
like,
that's like the new age. That's the new age hero. That ain't what I come on. Dudes was a little bit tougher back in the day, and I'm just saying dudes and women, but the heroes back in the day. I ain't trying to get off my lawn. It ain't even like that, because what I mean. I can adapt to whatever's doing, but it just seems soft to me. You know what I'm saying? She seems a little. She didn't have a little bit. She's lacking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? She's just lacking a little bit. Her parents, as much as I like them as a support system, they tried to make them, especially mom. To me, they were not as assertive as they could have been, and maybe not as. All right, let's say, for instance, the whole thing with the wedding. Now, say, apparently, mom got it back that she's the one that pulled the handle on the thing and ruined her son's wedding.
Yeah.
And so at the end of that, she says, "Well, just tell us. We want to understand what's going on with you." She said, I can't tell you." That, I mean, in real life, that'd have been the beating of the year. You know what I'm saying? You can't just walk away and say, "I'm sorry, Mom, I can't do that." Where is the parenting? You know what I'm saying? Where is the you ain't leaving this room until
we gonna have this out. We gonna have this out, because you gonna tell me something. Yeah. No, I'm with you 110%. Like, I can tell you, and for the most part, I guess. See, I don't want this to be a situation where I'm ragged or whatever, but I can tell you, Part of my problem with like some of these Nickelodeon shows and the Disney shows, and we can stick to Disney,
Okay.
whatever. And I want to make it clear, folks. I've watched a lot of them. I've raised up some kids. I come up in the whole Wizards of Waverly Place era. You know, I didn't see a whole bunch of things. iCarly, Victorious. I can name a few
Okay.
shows. I didn't watch many episodes. I can tell you my big problem with these shows is the parents don't necessarily show up as parents in my mind should. So these kids are running rampant. They're talking a whole bunch of nonsense. They,
Oh,
you know, they get to be hella dismissive. Well, Wizards of Waverly Place is an exception. I'll point it out to people, whatever. I'm not bagging because they had parents, and those parents wasn't taking no off their children. So I can tell you,
thank
I
you.
can tell you that's true. Wizards of Waverly Place. Shout out to that. But Miss, like that bit was, you know, she said, "I ain't gonna tell y'all nothing," and both her parents walked away. I can tell you, yo, real talk, my head jumped out because I'm sitting there thinking that'll be the day that my children gonna sit there and tell me what you ain't gonna do.
Oh,
Like the girl, she was supposed to be punished so often, and I just
okay.
never understood like how she. You don't got time to be suiting up as a hero, dog. You on lockdown. When she snuck out to go to the con, she didn't get punished.
No.
She didn't. You know, her father said, you know, the word was, and in some ways, her parents were overbearing. I don't want to make it seem like they weren't. You
Mm.
know, like you decided she gonna wear this costume to the con, and I mean, I
Uh,
don't know why the girl didn't just say, well, you know, I picked out my own costume. You know, Papa can, he can get on board with whatever. No,
you do that Hulk joint, whatever
yeah,
you
you go
say.
ahead and do the whole. I got my thing right here. Me and Bruno didn't work something out. I got the costume covered. I don't know why communication was a problem for her as a person, but she snuck out. The situation
Yeah.
was you either go with daddy or you don't go at all. She snuck out and then she come back. And as far as I know, like she's not grounded for life. Like I just,
Yeah.
you out. It's 11 something at night. Was it like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning or something? She
Yeah.
get back. Nah, dog. This is a wrap. This is a wrap. If it ain't school, you just better be in the house. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They were
I mean,
overbearing, but they weren't strict or stern or consistent. Like they were very strange parents.
look, she wrecked her brother's wedding and got a trip to Pakistan. I ain't get that at all. I mean, yeah, I'd have been like, I don't care what grandma says. You ain't going nowhere. I'll go see grandma. You wait here because you're
Yo,
grounded. You know what I'm saying? And another bit, I think that in terms of the pace, I think Pakistan should have came in the second season. I could
okay.
I would have liked to see her adapt to her powers, go through some ebbs and flows, get a win at the end of the first season, but it'd be a like a narrow win, and then say, "Look, man, I got to figure this out. I got to go back to the source, and figure out where these powers came from." And then she got the call from Nana and say, "All right, let's go to Pakistan."
Uh,
I think it would have worked better in the second season because
all
there
right.
was
So
jumping, man. It was like
it was
it was
jumping, man,
moving for some
and
reason.
and that to me is, I guess, whereas I'm torn about like the episode count and so forth, because not to say whatever, and like you said, if there was a second season episode, or perhaps had they cut some of that, like episode 5 was a waste. I mean, it was a straight flashback, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm against flashback moments because I love them.
And yeah,
Straight manga at this
straight,
point. So
yeah.
we, flashbacks are awesome, and it gives you an opportunity to learn a lot of things. But character wise, I felt like it got in the way of a lot of stuff. I mean, you
Mhm.
missed a lot of opportunities. A lot of meat was left on the floor for this whole season because you devoted episode 5 to a straight flashback, and you had characters who, like you said, Bruno didn't get no shine.
Mhm.
What was her other best friends?
Oh, her girl,
What was
I
her
forget her
name?
name. I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
But like, those are missed opportunities. Like that
Hmm.
whole, like it was a quick turnaround to, I mean, they had a little moment where I tell you everything, you didn't tell me this big thing I didn't want you to, whatever. Like you stepped on that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So that flashback stuff, I mean, I don't know, man. That trip to Pakistan, like you said, I think either this the episode count needed to be longer, or that was a
Right, right.
season 2 scenario. I'm
Yeah.
with you 100%
If you
on that one.
if you like you say, if you double the episodes and say whatever, diet, they can fit in the middle,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
and then come back to the United States and deal with the rest of that. As it is, they introduced they was introducing people that just got rid of quick. The leader of the Red Daggers or whatever. I mean, he came in, he could have been somebody. He got murdered real quick. He got stabbed in the back and died immediately. You know what I'm saying? It's what you call him? A homegirl that was the threat that was leading the gin.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought she was gonna be like a long road type villain. I don't know if they're gonna try to bring her back or whatever, but she's
I mean,
done.
she
It's over.
did. Yeah,
Her
she's a
whole
wrap.
crew, I believe, all of them.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, whatever, man. Oh yeah, if you haven't seen the series, man, hurry up and watch it. It ain't gonna be. It ain't gonna.
Whoops.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, there was things that they could have paced out better.
Yeah.
Or like you said, just allow for more episodes.
Yeah.
A quick one that kind of got me in the moment. She goes to Pakistan, hang out with her cousins, or whatever, right? She wanted to investigate the whole thing with the bank or whatever. She hanging with her cousins and say, "Let's go to the train station." They say, "Nah," and let her go on her own. First thing I did, I said, "That seems strange." Pakistan got a very high kidnapping rate, especially when it comes to young girls. What is up with her cousin? Am I wrong? Was that her first time in Pakistan? Or was it maybe she been there before?
I'm assuming she must have been there before because she knew the
Okay.
dog, right? Yeah. I mean,
She could have known him off of Skype.
that's true. I don't know, dude. Actually, that's a good question.
All you know is she's a teenager. She in high school. And they say they kidnapping kids quick out there, Joe. So I wouldn't feel comfortable if my cousin goes and say, "All right, well, meet me back at the house." You might never see her again.
At that point, I'm just gonna remind you, dude, this is a Disney show. So you want that dark and gritty, like
I'm just thinking logically.
Look, dude, the House of Mouse don't do that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know.
She be on the poster, dude. They be looking for her. You know what
that's not what this program is, Jose.
Okay.
You now, the partition not realistic. I can't dude, man. You got to pull back a little bit.
Look, all right. Let's get into the powers. What do you think of her powers, the skill set, and how it was animated and so forth? What do you think of the FX?
I thought they were okay. I'll be honest with you. I thought, they did. I mean, it wasn't terrible. I mean, it wasn't great. And I guess in some ways we are spoiled because we're used to seeing the straight movies. So we want them to cough up a little coin and whatever. So I'm trying my best to pull back to say it wasn't bad. And I've seen, Powers done worse than this. It wasn't great. So I felt like it was serviceable. So I was okay. Where did you?
I thought it was her abilities. I mean, from what I know of the actual comic,
her powers.
They did the best they could. If they'd have tried to just use inflated arms and stuff, it might have looked a little weird. But saying it's hard light, whatever that is that they was using. I mean, I guess that was the best that they could do.
Are you okay with that change? Because I was okay with that particular change in terms of what her abilities are versus. I was okay with them making that her power. I was okay with that.
One thing that I did find weird though, she initially was not very athletic or coordinated. The stuff that she was doing at the end, you got to understand. First of all, you're making platforms in midair and jumping from one to the other. And at one point, she grabs on a lamppost and does some kind of uneven parallel bar swing back onto another. Where did this athleticism come from? Where did the stamina come from? You try leaping like you was playing hopscotch from thing to thing up in the air. If you miss, it's over. You know what I'm saying? So where did the nerve, the athleticism, and the skill come from between when she left Jersey and came back from Pakistan?
Look, dude. See, I'm with you on this kind of stuff because that irks me too. So if you want to take a character like this, and it's important that you understand, or we can make note of the difference between the way these powers she comes into these powers versus the way say Peter Parker came into his.
Right.
So ultimately, because people can say, "Well, Spider-Man was doing all this, whatever, whatever." So we're saying that he gets bitten by this radioactive spider. It enhances him physically. He gets agility, the ability to stick to walls. He gets that spider sense, which, in all honesty, is a nasty power in and of itself. But for all intents and purposes, this power set lends himself to being able to
Mm.
do fantastical things right out the gate. Now we're saying her power is to be able to shoot out hard constructs,
Mm.
and like you said, she says I'm uncoordinated and I'm not athletic.
Mm.
You can't just make, just because you learn how to use these powers better doesn't mean you're an athlete. So that's
Mm.
to me that's a problem. And you're thinking that we're suckers, but I'm not
Mm.
a sucker in that regard. Like
Mm.
I can see when you feed me some nonsense, and
Mm.
you feed me some nonsense. She can't flip on these things. Like I don't know why she not winded.
Yeah. That, I
she
mean,
was she
she
was
was
running
doing
through the
some.
whole city,
That
man.
look hard. I mean, it's like I said, it just the stamina
Yeah.
to be able to leap from one, and they was going ascending and descending. That means you got to jump up to a step and climb, then down or sideways and do whatever. I'd be huffing and puffing. She landed on the ground and she'd be like, "Hey," I'd be like, "Wait a minute, okay, we're going to," you know what I'm saying? She was cool. I
Yeah.
mean, and then earlier they established that she didn't have superhuman strength, but then later on she flipping cars around. I don't know if it was because of the constructs. Is the
The
constructs
constructs. Yeah.
they amped her strength, or they did that on their own? I don't know. To me, the powers were kind of inconsistent. But like you said, the execution, the FX is alright.
Hold
It
on.
was alright, and her dude, what's his name? I can't remember the last dude that had the same powers.
Oh,
The names, yeah, they kind of irrelevant, but
I mean,
dude, dude, dude,
hey,
he had
man.
basically the same powers, I guess, and they looked okay.
Yeah, Cameron.
That camera, there you go.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so yeah, I could go with the powers. They're not my favorite powers, but they're okay. Um,
Um, so
yeah,
I'm going to say for me, the powers though. So if we're talking about how they looked, then I'm going to say they were serviceable. The powers, my problem, I guess, with the powers, and it ends up irking me a bit, is so we're saying that she's getting this power. So I don't want to say because it's not really alien because they're from another, I guess, dimension as opposed to another
yeah,
world.
right,
A
right.
dimension that's so it's another dimension. Um, I guess it's alien to this dimension. So we're saying that that's the source of her powers. It would unlock something within her that allowed her to use those powers. But then we're gonna say she's a mutant.
I don't know about that.
So the whole episode 5, where she travels back in time, is that her power? Is that the bangle that she's using to whatever? Like, what's the power? What's happening
I
here
don't know.
that she's doing all these kind of things? Like, I don't get it.
Inconsistent. I mean, in that regard, it's if they'd have stuck to one or the other, I'd be fine. Because if she was a mutant, all right, well, you can't. Then you're saying that the bangle unlocked her mutant potential, blah blah blah.
Okay.
But if you're saying that she's a Jinn or part Jinn, whatever that means, I mean, in terms basically, I mean, within the I guess it's not Muslim, but the whatever mythology. Muslim being a religion, the mythology would be what? Would it be within Muslim mythology? How would that?
Um,
Or Pakistani mythology?
we can say Pakistani, Arabic.
Yeah,
We can go anywhere. Yeah, I'm with
yeah.
you. Urdu. Yeah, yeah.
So does it lend themselves to being creatures within that mythology, like a Norse god or something like that, or is it just Yeah, that mutant thing was unnecessary.
Mm.
They need not have brought that up. She'd have been fine without it, unless they have some kind of plan, which I doubt.
I don't think that.
But
Yeah,
I think they was just throwing
think they
stuff
winging
out.
it, dude. At this
Yeah.
point in time, they winging this one.
Um,
I think they
uh,
winging that one.
Another issue that I have is threat level. Everybody needs a threat level. I mean, to me, they were inconsistent in their use of what you call them control, damage
Oh,
control.
damage control. Yeah, yeah.
In that, um, first you're trying to say these people are dangerous, but they was like Keystone Cops. They got thwarted by high school kids with some Home Alone tech. You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't close in on these kids or some Home Alone tech, and they was just baffled. And to the point where they got them outside, then all of a sudden they turned hard and they started shooting at them with Glocks and machine guns. So take your pick. Are you down for murder? Or are you for what? You know what I'm saying?
Yo.
The threat was inconsistent and actually not even there because Marvel has this Marvel, I guess Disney Marvel, even if you go to the Star Wars stuff, the
Mhm.
stormtroopers look good on paper, but they can't do nothing. So there's nothing really to be worried about. So that you look at these damage control people, there was nothing really to be worried about, but they supposed to pose a threat. So if you don't have a main antagonist who they got rid of quickly, you don't have a threat. You don't have anything for me to really worry about. So that lessens your hero. You know what I'm saying? I think they dropped the ball like that. If you come up with one concrete enemy, like the gens that was trying to, get back home, whatever. Once you took them off the board for the main party, everything falls apart. You know. So damage control didn't do it for me. There was clutches.
I mean, I agree with that. And
There was buffoons from what I could tell. And so
you said Keystone Cops. I mean, that's real talk.
I mean,
I,
they got thwarted by some fire extinguishers and some softballs and some lab experiments. Yeah, come on, man, raise the bar, put her in danger. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? They didn't really put her in
mm,
danger, so I can't really invest myself in her well-being. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, on the overall, it was more of a guilty pleasure to me. It was like a high-end Nickelodeon show, superhero show. It was harmless for the most part, but it had potential for it to have weight.
yeah.
It needed legit villains, and Kamala needed to have a call to action. She
Okay.
didn't like I said. If you compare her with Midoriya, she falls. She needed some of what he had. She needed a call to action. She needed something to make you really pull for her as a hero. Disney got this thing where they like slapping that hero label on people, but they never, except for in the obvious situations, they don't give you a reason to really pull for that person. Whereas your Spider-Mans, your Caps are easy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Spider-Man's the interesting, unique um, situation where he had no intentions of being a hero. That was never his design until he faced a situation that made him understand what somebody tried to tell him earlier.
Yeah.
She could use something like that. Maybe if I don't know, off the top of my head, you could go a few ways with it, but she needed something to say, I'm in the game for a reason. I'm gonna do this for a reason. And then Jersey could say, we got our hero. As it is, they got Nightlight or whatever her name was, and another thing that kind of irritates me. I'm sick of them telling people that they're great. Pop telling her that she was amazing, and people always telling you you're amazing, you're perfect. They got this thing where they keep trying to. They literally have somebody usually in the course of the show tell you how amazing you are, and it is usually a girl. That's the MCU thing, but whatever. You say, yeah, I mean, people look at it starry eyed. Oh my God, you're amazing. Didn't nobody ever tell Parker that he was amazing. He had a hustle. You know what I'm saying, man? Old school rappers had to hustle and earn their stripes.
Look, man, I don't
Niggas don't do
understand.
nothing, and people are
Can't
saying,
get
"Oh my
affirmations,
God,
Jose. What really can't
put
get
in some
affirmations?
work. Just put in some work." That's all I'm saying. She said one person at a con and then defeated some buffoons, and all of a sudden, she's whatever. I mean, put put your people in peril, make them work so they can earn their accolades.
No, you getting too close to get off my lawn territory, Jose.
Yeah, well, get on there, get off my lawn. That's all I'm gonna say. Because it's getting irritating, but like I say, it's a guilty pleasure for me because I just like even the little bits at the beginning where they was doing the weird little graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought that they could have carried that more.
They could have carried. Yeah. I'm with you.
I think that would have gave it more of a niche and pulled things together.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, even with all this, I'm going to say this, and people can take with that. I like Miss Marvel better than I like Captain Marvel. I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
I'll tell everybody to their face. If I had to choose between the two, which Marvel was my Marvel, it would be this one, and I would clean it up as best I could.
Yeah,
but
you could tighten this up.
Yeah.
Tighten this up and make it something. I don't think you can do nothing with Captain Marvel.
Oh my God,
I'm done with that. But I enjoyed a lot of the aspects of the show.
Yeah.
And I wish it could have been better. I wish they could have tweaked it a bit, or they still can, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if they bring it back for a season 2, you never know with these mammals.
At least let me know what happened to Bruno's grandmother. I mean, I'm assuming she died. she died in the explosion at the store. He just don't care. I mean, Bruno was my dude. I was going for him. I was pulling for him.
I'm team Bruno, dude. Like
all day.
That's whatever. I want him to get the girl. Whatever. I'm with you.
And them other side dudes, I ain't really invested in them. You know what I'm saying? They just there. You know what I'm saying? But I need to see my man Bruno get some props.
Yeah.
Until then, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I hope they get a second season. I hope she gets an enemy.
I hope so too, actually. I hope there's a second season for this one. So this one, I like this one.
Okay. All right. So
all right.
That's the perfect phrase. Miss Marvel was all right. So if you was looking for a great show to pick up, I can't help you. And then I can do about that. But if you was looking for something that's all right, which seems to be
you can watch it. You can watch this.
If you watch it with your kids too, you can watch it. They might,
this is a family.
Yeah. They ain't nothing really terrible going to happen. Not really dangerous and nothing. So go ahead and get you some Miss Marvel. Or maybe pick up the trades and see if it was any good. I might do that, but I probably won't. But so that's it from the movie corner. Technically, it's a movie corner, but
What's the
TV shows. Yeah. So let me know what you think about Miss Marvel. Don't be too harsh, but tell it like it is. And until next time, I ain't even gonna mess with Moon Knight because I ain't like that at all.
Oh, you ain't like Moon Knight?
Not really.
I like it.
You like
I like Moon Knight. Yeah, I did.
Maybe we cut into Moon Knight.
Oh yeah, we can cut that. We can cut into that. It'll be a point counterpoint. Yeah. I like Moon Knight.
Okay. All right. So until next time, stay loose.